This is the exact moment everything went wrong on a top-secret island mission. If you're new here, this is King Emmy Studio and we cover multiple stories like this. Part 1. The Breach at the Shore. Deep in the uncharted waters of the Pacific Ocean lies a secret. A highly classified, heavily fortified US military base, hidden beneath the dense green canopy of an isolated island. Its purpose? The extraction and secure transport of an experimental, highly volatile metallic shipment. Under the blinding midday sun, the base is a hive of tense, exhausted activity. Heavily armed soldiers pack and secure the final crates onto transport trucks. Among them is Sergeant Mike Johnson, an elite sniper. Standing before his weary men is Captain Rhodes. He delivers a grim but hopeful update.
The warship escort convoy carrying more than half of our extracted materials has already departed successfully. They're currently navigating the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I need you to rest and stay alert while we wait. Our extraction convoy is already en route.
But the ocean has other plans. Inside the dimly lit communications bunker, alone, anomalous radar signature pings on the monitor. A small, wooden fisherman's boat is idling just off the island's restricted shoreline. It shouldn't be there. No one should even know this island exists. 2 US soldiers speed down to the rocky shore in a military jeep to investigate.
Identify yourself immediately!
They dismount, rifles lowered but ready. They shout commands in English. The fisherman waves his hands frantically, shouting back in Arabic. The language barrier creates a sudden, lethal wall of confusion. Feeling threatened, the soldiers raise their weapons. The first soldier drops instantly, before the second can even pull his trigger. He goes down. In the bunker, the comms specialist stares in absolute horror. Man down. We have men down. He screams into the radio. The single fisherman's boat wasn't alone. Emerging from the ocean fog is a massive, heavily armed hostile fleet, moving at full speed, completely encircling the island.
We're completely surrounded.
The base is totally surrounded. The primary lookouts are dead, and the enemy is already hitting the sand. How will a skeleton crew survive the next 48 hours? Part 2. The 12-hour wall. After multiple rocket launches were launched to the shore of the base, the ramp of a rusted amphibious landing craft drops open, crashing into the turquoise waves. Heavily armed terrorists pour out onto the beach, firing blindly into the tree line as mortar shells tear the shoreline apart. The alarm klaxons wail across the compound. The base soldiers scramble into defensive positions, instantly returning heavy fire. What follows is 12 grueling hours of pure, unadulterated warfare. Sergeant Mike Johnson holds high ground taking down enemies. 1 shot, 1 kill. But then multiple rocket launches aims directly at his tower. With no time to take all out, he had to jump off, barely making it in one piece. Captain Rhodes moves through the trenches, directing fire, bleeding for every inch of dirt. They are outnumbered 10-1, but the American defenders fight like demons, holding a strict defensive line to buy time for the incoming relief forces. But inside the smoke-filled command bunker, the radio crackles to life with a transmission from the Pentagon that completely freezes the room. The Global War Room screen in. Washington displays real-time satellite footage of the island. The news is catastrophic. The primary warship escort fleet, out in the Pacific, the one carrying the first half of the shipment, has just been hit by a massive, coordinated naval ambush. They are fighting for their own survival and cannot turn back. There is no relief convoy coming. The island is completely cut off, thousands of miles from home, with the base perimeter collapsing and the terrorists swarming the main compound. Captain Rhodes listens to the final, chilling command from high command. Authorize a total missile strike. Sanitize the island. Do not let that cargo fall into enemy hands. The countdown has begun. A cruise missile is already en route to wipe the island off the map. But Captain Rhodes and Sergeant Mike are still alive inside the base, and the enemy has just breached the inner gates. Part 3. The Leap of Faith. With the clock ticking down to absolute annihilation, the battlefield turns into a chaotic race against time. Captain Rhodes and Sergeant Mike Johnson, among the very last surviving defenders, make a brutal fighting retreat through the burning ruins of the compound. The air is thick with black smoke and flying shrapnel. Ammunition is dangerously low. Behind them, waves of terrorist fighters swarm the base, executing a relentless press. Ahead of them is nothing but a steep, jagged cliff, dropping hundreds of feet into a roaring, violent ocean. They are completely cornered. The enemy forces burst through the smoke, rifles raised, pinning the two men against the absolute edge of the precipice. There are no options left. Captain Rhodes looks over the edge at the churning water, then locks eyes with Mike. In that split second, a grim finality washes over his face. He knows there is no escape for both of them. Someone has to hold the trigger. Rhodes grabs the sergeant by his tactical vest, looks him dead in the eye, and yells, "Jump!" Before Mike can protest, the captain shoves him backward off the cliff. Rhodes turns his back to the ocean, raising his rifle one last time to face the oncoming horde alone, buying his soldier the precious seconds he needs. Sergeant Mike Johnson falls backward through the air, the wind roaring in his ears as he plunges toward the ocean below. Mid-air, the sky splits open. A colossal cruise missile breaks through the clouds, slamming directly into the center of the base. A blinding, earth-shattering fireball erupts, completely leveling the compound, the enemy, and the brave captain in a devastating flash. An instant later, Mike hits the freezing ocean water at high speed, swallowed by the darkness of the sea as the surface above him turns into a raging inferno. The base is gone. The island is destroyed. Beneath the burning waves, underwater and alone. Did Sergeant Mike survive the countdown? Drop your answers in the comment section. If you enjoyed this content, then don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so when I drop a new content, you'll be the first to know. Once again, this is King Emmy Studio.